How many of us have gone through such terrible breakups that it changes the way we handle our future relationships? When your relationship comes to an end, do you find that life becomes so difficult that it makes it hard for you to move on? In this video, we're going to talk about how to evolve from toxic relationships that are no longer needed and turn them into healthy and happy ones. Today's video is brought to you by Pure Bulk. Pure Bulk offers a variety of over 250 of the purest, simplest, and unaltered nutritional powders and oils and capsules. You can be sure that their products are free from any added flavors, anti-caking agents, and additives. And everything is tested by a well-established third-party laboratory. So if you're interested in taking your supplement game to the next level, please check out purebulk.com and use our affiliate link below to receive 10% off your next order. Hi everybody, I'm Miss Raina. Today we're going to talk about the difficulties we experience while going through and after a breakup. For many of us, going through a breakup can be quite traumatic that usually ends up changing us into a person of anger and resentment. I know we've all experienced the type of breakups that can crush us, often making it difficult for us to want to open back up again. Today we're going to discuss why these experiences are so painful to us and how we can learn to accept that sometimes relationships, well, they're not forever, and how to welcome new ones into our life. The very first thing that we have to change is our idea that every relationship is meant to be forever. We have such an unrealistic idea that every person we meet is the one. And because of this, we often give in to our insecurities and our emotional desires that blind us from seeing people for who they truly are. This creates an attachment to a person and an unrealistic view of how the relationship is going to be. This idea that every person we meet being the forever one most likely comes from us watching way too many fairy tale movies where we think somebody's going to come in and save us from ourselves. Releasing the concept of the one is important because when we think that everything is meant to be forever, this creates this false concept where we attach ourselves to the idea that this person is going to give us meaning or value. Because we undervalue who we are and we go through life with little to no self-worth, we create this illusion that we need to be with somebody to be happy. This idea creates a lot of unwanted responsibility on our partners. Because you're telling them that you're the one, you're instantly putting all these unnecessary expectations on them. Once you say, this person's the one, you're saying that this person is going to not only make you happy and take away all my pain and suffering, but you're going to completely fulfill all my hopes and dreams. No one should ever be responsible for fixing your life. The next thing that we have to do is to allow ourselves time to heal and to prepare ourselves to deal with our emotions and grief. The biggest mistake that we often do right after a breakup is we shut down emotionally and we become angry. We also start to try to convince ourselves that we don't care by saying things like, oh, well, it's their loss. And then we usually start to push blame on the other person. By accepting the loss of those ideas and constructs that were placed on the relationship, it starts to allow us to handle the fact of losing a person that we love and being okay with separation. The healthiest thing we can do right after a breakup is express how we feel and to get those emotions out. We've become a society where it's shameful to express how we really feel, and we often feel judged, and people tend to brand us as needy or chaotic if we talk about what we're going through. I was one that never talked about my problems, and the one time that I did, one of my friends started to back away from me and actually stopped hanging out with me because they said, well, you've become too negative. And then I thought that, well, this is the first time I've ever expressed myself. And so that thought was reinforced by the idea that I shouldn't talk about my problems and my feelings because people don't want to hear it. I had to learn how valuable it was for me to talk about how I feel and what I'm going through, regardless of what others thought. I realized that the more I held in, the angrier I became and the more emotional I was. One of the unhealthiest things we can do is to give in to our emotional needs and jump into another relationship right away. Not only does this not give us time to heal, but it confuses our emotional and mental well-being. When we find ourselves jumping into rebound mode immediately after a breakup, if we think about it, it's not fair to the person that we're rebounding on because we're not giving ourselves to them. We're using them for our own selfish emotional needs. This not only creates more chaos in our life, but now we're causing pain to an innocent. After we've realized to start expressing how we feel and to not just jump in the first relationship we see, it is important for us to build a proper relationship with ourselves. As I've stated before, we jump into relationships thinking that the other person is going to give us what we're missing, but now we must understand that we must give us what we're missing. If we want to get past the ideas of loneliness and needing someone to be complete, then we must reflect on the painful memories of our past relationships. This will start the new grounds for the foundation to build not only a healthy relationship with yourself, but a loving one. If one ever desires to have a real healthy relationship with someone else, then they must have a healthy relationship with themselves first. This means having someone in your life to add to what you already have, not fix it. After a harsh and devastating breakup, many of us find it impossible to trust other people, especially in future relationships. This is why it's so vital for us to start work on reestablishing trust between people. Let's be honest, we've all had people that have treated us terribly. Some have lied to us, some have cheated on us, and some may have even abused us. But believe it or not, this is where we have to start taking responsibility for our choices. Truth be told, subconsciously, it's not the people that we don't trust, it's our own judgment. Because we've allowed ourselves to make choices out of emotional insecurities, we have learned to distrust the choices that we make. This often appears as us not trusting other people, but in fact, we know it's us that we don't trust. So how do we fix this trust issue? Well, we focus on the people that are in our lives that we trust, and we learn to be vulnerable with our choices. By having people who support you, if a choice that is made that's not a favorable one, then you'll learn to understand that not all choices have devastating consequences. This will begin to build confidence within ourselves and to teach us how to build relationships with others. Once we start to build confidence with people we trust, we then have to start trying to rebuild communications with strangers to renew our trust with them. This can be a very difficult step because our mind wants to remind us how much pain someone else can cause us. But this is a false idea because no one can cause us pain if we have a healthy relationship with ourselves. This is a great time to work on all of our insecurities and habits that are creating pain and suffering. We have to realize that it takes two to fight. And the reason why it takes two is because we choose to be with that person. Even if someone is being on us or being horrible, we're still choosing to be with that person for some reason. And you have to learn to evolve from that. We have to learn that it is our responsibility as well, even if it doesn't seem like it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, don't forget to follow and like us, and feel free to leave a comment below. If you have a topic that you'd love to hear about in regards to spirituality or alternative healing, please email me. The link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.